friends out to kick it off.
And how important is it for you? I mean, you're up for re-election, obviously. What are you hoping you can bring to the people of Terre?
Well, obviously the biggest issue is the sagging economy and the lack of jobs and job creation. And I think that, you know, when I campaigned last time, you know, I gave up my medical practice to run for office because I felt like the country was going in the wrong direction. I still think the country's going in the wrong direction. I think that we need less federal regulation. We need to get our spending under control. And we need to get rid of onerous policies that are stymieing job creation, for example, the President's health care bill, as well as the constant threat of higher taxes on job creators. And so that's the things that I'm working on to get people in Terre Haute back to work.
Any comments on Obamacare?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was disappointed by the fact that the Supreme Court upheld the President's health care bill. But the fact of the matter is, the Supreme Court isn't deciding whether the bill is good for the American people or not. They made a decision whether or not it's constitutional. They've made their decision. And I stand by the fact that I still think the health care bill is bad for our citizens overall. There are a few things in there that I think are not only popular but are necessary. I've always been in favor of finding ways to make sure people with pre-existing conditions have adequate, cheap health care coverage. I think it is a good idea to keep children on their parents till 26. I said that in the last campaign. I'm saying that today. The Medicare donut hole was closed by Obamacare. That was a problem right from the start with the new Medicare prescription drug plan. But overall, the bill as a whole is a big government approach to the healthcare system that is going to put bureaucrats in charge of healthcare for our citizens. Not only that, it's going to blow the finances of this country, and particularly the state of Indiana, out of the water. And so I think it still needs to be repealed. But listen, the American people will speak in November, and they'll pick the leaders that they want for this country and pick the direction the country goes in. I think the American people are going to choose a direction other than President Barack Obama and my opponent Dave Crooks, who are going to promote big government takeover of health care and more taxes, more regulation. And I'm going to fight against it.
What do you think is the answer to our country's healthcare dilemma and uninsured? What would your...
Well, you have to get the cost down. The biggest issue with the healthcare system is the cost. The healthcare bill that's been passed doesn't address that. It addresses coverage, but doesn't address the spiraling out of control costs. To do that, you have to have more of a free market in the healthcare system. You have to have insurance across state lines. You have to expand health savings accounts. You have to have tort reform, and those are just a beginning. You know, price transparency so that consumers know what things cost is very important, and those are the things we need to work towards to drive the cost down. I always compare it to LASIK eye surgery. When you first came out 10, 12 years ago, insurance doesn't cover it. It costs $4,500 to get your eye surgery done. Today it's about $750. Why is that? It's because the consumers drove down the cost. They demanded higher quality care, and there is better doctors, better equipment at a lower cost, and without the middleman involved. Obviously, the consumers drove down the cost, and you can get that product now for much less than you could originally. And that's the type of ideas that need to be put in place for our healthcare system in general if we're going to solve this problem.
Anything else, Mayor, just about what the day means for you to be able to kick off your campaign, or anything else that you want?
Well, I'm excited about it. I think that, you know, this election is going to be, like I said earlier, a directional change for our country. Either we're going to continue down the pathway that President Barack Obama and Dave Crooks want to take the country towards big government, high taxes, and more of a European type society, or back to free markets, individual freedom and liberty, and the private sector driving job creation. So this election, I think, is very, very important for the American people. I'm excited about being a part of it, and I'm confident that you know, the American people will make the right choice, but it'll be up to them in November.
Thank you.
How do we create more jobs?
Well, first of all, we have, like I said earlier, we create jobs by keeping the government out of the way and letting the private sector thrive. If you have onerous regulations that are in place, if you have constant threats of higher taxes, if if you have a federal government that doesn't control their own budget and has been downgraded by rating agencies because Washington politicians, and I still consider myself an outsider being new to politics, never have been elected to office prior to this, continuing to spend money that we don't have. We have to get those things under control. Until we can do that, there's not going to be confidence in the private sector so that private sector job creators can get people back to work.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, this is the first place you